What's in your diary?
What's in your diary?
What's in your diary?
What's in yours?
Hey, it's Ty.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mike.
And welcome to another episode of the It's Not Your Diary podcast.
So, guys, we love what we're doing, and we believe that God definitely is working through us. And as we're on this walk towards generational healing, we'd love for you to walk with us. So if these episodes are helping you out in any which way, go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and go ahead and share.
Thanks, guys. We hope you enjoy this episode.
And it is episode 10 of the It's Not Your Diary Season 3 podcast. We are blessed, we are happy, and we are ready to give you guys a great episode. And Ty, how are you doing on this lovely Friday?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm, just hanging in there as everything is still closed. It's like nowhere to go, but just hanging in there, trying to make the best of these times. How about you?
Yeah, hanging in there for sure. It's been a wild 2 weeks, and I'm just learning a lot more, and I've been studying up a lot, and I'm really excited for these next few weeks. It's really going to help me to get situated, and it's been a blessing, but also, still trying to remain conscious that there is a battle out there that we need to be active in. So just trying to balance all that together.
Okay. How you feeling about everything going on with the protests and...
I feel like we're doing well. I feel as if there's been a lot of souls that have been moved from both sides. And I don't even want to, it sucks that we're saying sides because I feel like it shouldn't be that, but hey, it is what it is. And, I feel like a lot of eyes are being opened and hearts are being changed. And one thing that, I do know is that there's hope, throughout all this. I've been seeing a lot of peaceful protests, and I feel as though like things got off to a rocky start. We made the correct adjustments that we needed to continue to make this as impactful as it needs to be. And what about you?
Yeah, I feel like I was able to attend a really peaceful protest, and it was just really positive, and it was just like a bunch of different types of people there, and it just really made me feel like our generation and the generation below us, like we're really like stepping up, and it's just a good feeling because it's like, none of this will end anytime soon, and it's gonna be, slavery lasted for over 400 years. So now, like, at least giving the world and everybody else 400 years to completely get past it is like, I feel like that's a really good hope to have for us all, and not like expecting things to happen like, it's been over for 100 or so years, but like some people even still had slaves. Recently, they would get the immigrants, and they weren't slaves, but like housekeepers from other countries who just want to come, and they'll pay them a little bit to just live with them and be nannies and stuff. But at least just giving grace to those who need it in this time, because it didn't happen overnight, so it's not gonna change overnight. And just accepting that, as long as we all try to go forward, and just seeing like how people in our generation are just going forward and not really taking no, but still allowing that grace. I feel like that's where I am with it. And it's not gonna change overnight, and we shouldn't expect it. We shouldn't have the expectation. Like, yes, it's sad that we are still talking about it. Yes, it's sad that it's still happening, but just allowing everyone the grace that God gives us when we make mistakes.
I'm glad that you said that. I think that's very important, and I think that's very like mature thinking, because I just agree with that. And it's cool that you were part of the peaceful one, and I was kind of part of one that wasn't. I wouldn't say I was part of it, but Yeah, it was something like I was part of the weekend protests, so I feel like that's when it was really getting cracking, you know.
Was that the one downtown?
Yeah, that was the one downtown.
Oh,
And so yeah, it was cool. Everything was copacetic to start, but again, it just takes one person to act a certain way, and that energy can just fill the room. And that's
yeah.
kind of what it was. And then after
Yeah.
that, it was yeah, I'm not gonna say who started it or anything, but yeah,
No,
we
but I
just
mean,
have
people
we
went down
sorry.
there with the intentions to not peacefully protest. So,
Yeah. And I think like we need to be so mindful of, our actions, because if we're trying to, make change and bring unity and peace and justice, like we need to be really mindful of how we are reacting, especially when somebody's doing something that's not like right there.
mm-hmm.
And I was listening to like the Birmingham speech, and Martin Luther King was talking about civil disobedience. And I was thinking, okay, I thought of what civil disobedience looked like back then, as in going into places where you shouldn't be, having sit-ins, and whatnot. And then I was thinking, okay, what does civil disobedience look like today? Like, how could we civilly disobey in a society that's like who claims that we're free, who's given us rights and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I thought, because Evergreen had a protest here, but the cops like sectioned it off to say like this is where you can only march or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wouldn't that be in a case of civil disobedience? Because one, I'm protesting, like I'm going to go wherever I need to go. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that they're just trying to do their job to keep people safe, like all people safe. But we had the intent to make it a peaceful protest. So
Right.
at that point, like, yeah, I understand the consequences that, I may get arrested, cops may be mad at me. They may yell at me, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, they can't stop all of us, and I was thinking, man, I wish I was there, because I would have just been like, no, like we're going to march on 95th. We're going to go, here. They only let them go, like march around in a circle.
Yeah.
That wasn't like there was no busy streets. There was not, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it would have been way more impactful if we were like out there causing a traffic stop, like backing things up and making it difficult, but letting our voice be heard. Like we could have marched down all of 95th, like I felt like there was enough people to cover the whole street. And, it would have made a huge impact, especially while we're marching down, like with all the stores that are on 95th. Like, come on now, that would have been like, so I wish.
They're doing one today down 95th.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
But not in Evergreen, only Oakland.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that, the communities around us are getting out there. That's been nice. And I've also been in the mix of hearing what other things, the ungreat things that are happening because of this. And also, like, there's still like people that are high on emotion about this, and a lot of people are getting like the wrong messages and misinformation and stuff like that. So please be careful. And like, I'm not saying don't be emotional, but have your emotions, but keep them in check, because it's like people will say things and it'll be totally out of context and get you all like you'll be riled up for no reason, and then you'll be sitting there thinking like, wait, why are we even fighting? Like we're in the same boat, like we're trying to fight for justice. So like, what is the point of all this? So just be careful, keep the peace, because at the end of the day, like you got your soul to worry about.
Can't be reacting off of emotion and selfishly.
But I mean, we digress from that. That was totally,
I know.
but I mean, it's I think it's important to talk about, especially right now. And
because it's consuming so many lives, so it's like we need to address it. So
I came up with like 5 spiritual ways that we could fight. I don't know if anybody follows me on IG. I'm at icon_5000. So all right, so I thought of like 5 spiritual ways that you could fight during this time when you're not out there, and when you're with your families, or if you have a life group, you guys could all do this together. And I thought of fasting, studying, worship, service, and prayer and also evangelism. So there's 6. But yeah, I think those 5 things, those spiritual disciplines would be very key as we are fighting for justice, as we are also wanting more peace within the protest. And because we don't want any more lives being taken from this, but we understand that, it happens. And one thing that I had to realize is that even the rioting and looting is all part of God's plan. Even if I disagree with it or whatever, like it's all part of his plan, which is like something hard to grasp and understand for some, but it took me a while to even understand it. But we still have to play our role in it. We still have to do what we believe that what is right, so those are just 6 things that you could look up and see God about and what you can do. And I think one thing that's important, that would be really impactful, is when you fast and include that with another spiritual discipline. So while you're fasting, you'll be in prayer. While you're fasting, you'll be in worship. While you're fasting, you'll be serving. While you're fasting, you'll be evangelizing. While you're fasting, you'll be studying the word. And there's many more disciplines that you could also seek out to do. And I'm not saying that, these are the top 5 spiritual disciplines or whatever. I just think that during this time and this moment, as we are seeking justice, I think these would end justice, peace, and unity. I feel like these will really help, but yeah, with all that being said, Ty,
yes.
You got any happy thoughts for us?
I do. So, yeah, I'm going to be posting pictures of my new garden. It's not really a garden because my table is kind of broken right now. It got knocked over by the wind, so it's in a few pieces. I got to put it back together, but I replanted a few things, and that has just brought me back to feeling I got my green thumb back, because I was feeling really discouraged. I was like, I don't even want to have a garden anymore since Jax ate all of the dirt and was just pulling them all up, and he just really destroyed all of my plants. So now he's banned from the balcony unless I'm out there, because he will just immediately go right to the dirt to eat it. I guess he liked the way it tastes or something. I don't know, but yes, that's really making me happy right now. And I've been going on walks, getting like 10,000 steps in with my friends, and just being more intentional about how I'm spending my time. I'm also working. So my thing was Monday, I finally started as a full-time stay-at-home working mom, and I'm an entrepreneur now, and I'm not going back to a 9-to-5. So yeah. And I got
pop a bottle and pat yourself on the back.
I know. And I got a job offer already, and I was like, let me pray on it. And then I prayed, and God immediately told me no. And if I did take the job, and it was like a perfect opportunity, like the hours were perfect, location and everything just perfect. But I prayed, and he told me no, and just kind of showed me how I could prolong, the season that I'm in if I took this kind of job, because right now, like, I have something specific that I'm supposed to be doing. So I turned it down. How easy that would have been to like just, take on the job or whatever. But yeah, so I'm happy that I'm actually practicing obedience and sticking to my hobbies, sticking to at least getting some type of physical something in this time that, I'm just sitting in the house, at least like getting out of the house, getting active, and yeah, just enjoying life, enjoying the small things right now. Beautiful. How about you?
That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's dope. And I'm looking forward to you on this new adventure and what's going to become of it. And I'll definitely be praying for you on that. What's been going on with me, though, I've really been enjoying like the studying that I've been in. Like, I've really been looking at a lot of things on the nonviolent protest, and like just studying up on Martin Luther King and Gandhi, and seeking God during this time, and reading a lot of scripture. So that's nerd alert. That's always great. Like, I always enjoy that stuff. And also another thing that's been cool is like seeing like the hearts of my white friends change, and like seeing like how they're noticing how they're privileged, and like how the system is made up to be against us. And it's really like cool, like, you know, man, like glad your eyes are opening up and you're being more aware and wanting to learn more and be more educated on it. So that's been nice to see other people just like grow, and also like just seeing them, like seeing how their hearts move and wanting them to, you know, make a difference and try to do something, you know. And so that's been beautiful to see, and just the conversations as well that have been good. And I finally got to see my little cousin. It's been about 5 months since I last seen the little Vato, so that's been great, kicking it with him and working out with him and stuff. And yeah, also music development, been progressive in writing and such. So there's been plenty of things that I can give praise for, which is awesome. I will say it was quite difficult at the beginning of this whole thing. Once, you know, things really got heavy, it was hard to see or to actually like be happy for personal reasons because of what's going on. But I still have a life to live, and, you know, my purpose is still, you know, here. You know, my purpose still needs to be pursued. And, you know, that's another thing that I was like, all right, like, how could I balance this all? How could I tie it into my purpose as a, you know, human? And yeah, it's been great. A lot of good things.
That's good. I'm happy to hear that your transition and how you are going like on these different paths of like, okay, you know, this is what's happening, but I still have to remember, you know.
Yeah, that's always been like tough for me because I get so like I guess I'll get like my emotions invested into it. Like once I let my emotions get invested into it, it's like, you know, I have to, you know, but I also have to remember to, you know, like pull back some and recenter myself and also recoup, and then I can go forward in it like fully with mind, body, and spirit. So yeah, it's something that I'm actually also proud of. You know, I've really been thinking about that, so I'm glad you recognize that, because that's growth for myself. So speaking of growth,
so for our next segment, it is our favorite journal assignment from last week. And it's actually the one from Thursday of last week. We didn't tell y'all on the last episode because that was more just like off the cuff, like the title said. But we actually started a challenge for the month of June, which is more like a purpose-driven challenge. It's called the Self-Discovery Challenge, and it is 30 days long. If you want to be a part of the June challenge, just go ahead and subscribe. The link is in our bio on Instagram, and you can also go to our website, itsnotyourdiary.com, and just go ahead and subscribe. It'll be the first thing you see once you go on our page. And this is the June Self-Discovery Challenge, so don't miss out. But our favorite journal assignment from last Thursday, June 4th, was actually name a book that spoke to you on a personal level and why.
So I thought when I had seen this, there's been plenty of books that I've been going through, but the one that has impacted me the most recently has been, I think I've mentioned it on the season before. It's called The Life You've Always Wanted, and it's Spiritual Disciplines for Ordinary People by John Ortberg. And yeah, this book has spoke to me so well during this year, because it's a life that I want, being spiritually disciplined, being grounded in my faith, and using that faith to, you know, to maneuver throughout life in all areas. So yeah, like I would recommend it to anybody who is seeking like, okay, I don't really like religion, but I do love God. I want to know how to get closer to him. I want to know how to live more authentically. This is the book. This is a book that can really help you out. And, you know, there's no greater book than the Word of God, but there are great supplemental readings, and I believe this is one of them. And I'm so blessed that my mentor blessed me with this book, and it's just been a great guide, a great help to me as I've been transforming this season. As you know, you guys all know, I've been really adamant in, promoting transformation this season. And yeah, this book has helped me, and I would encourage you all to dive into that book and enjoy it. What about you, Ty?
So I've been reading this really good book called Beyond the Limits by Deborah Anthony, my childhood mentor. And so what was crazy was I kind of just bought the book because of the title, because it's called, the full title is A Journey to True Passion Beyond the Limits. And basically she talks about the community that I was in, that she had when I was probably like 14, 15, 16. And how it kind of like she let passion just drive her. It was like her main driving force. So basically this book spoke to me because the author speaks about her journey to true passion and how her passion for so many things took her away from God's purpose. And I feel this has been me and my story in my life until summer of 2019. This was my story, and she shares her journey about her path, and I can relate to wanting to control like her and just surrendering to God and letting him have his way. So the book is really good. And so I'm also in this group with my friends, and we've really just been talking about like finding our passions and like our purpose. And she's actually going to be on next season as a guest, which is great. So she can kind of dive in more to like all the things that she's been through. But that actually brings me to the topic for this episode, is actually passion versus purpose. And how, like she said, like one of the things you don't really think about is that we can truly be passionate about so many different things, but sometimes our passion can take us away from the purpose that God has for us, because we can be passionate about all these different things that are not our purpose necessarily. So yeah, just leaning on God more for our purpose. And in my book club this past Sunday, we were actually talking about how one of the girls on there was saying like she doesn't know what her purpose is. She's like, how do I find my purpose? So I feel like we're all on this journey, and it's like, well, there are tangible things that we can do that we do want to talk about in this episode to help y'all out, because we all want to find our figure out what our purpose is in God, and find out what God wants us to be passionate about in this season that we're in. So yeah, this episode is just super important, and we hope that by tying everything in over this season, since this is the last episode, tier, that you all really are able to take every episode and apply it so that you can finally get to that point where you now know how to go after. So yeah, this episode, we just gonna give y'all a bunch of tips and kind of give y'all a little insight on our passion and purpose journey, and yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So Ty, like what do you have on passion then? Like what do you know about passion?
I would say my journey with passion, like I've personally this is like testimony time. Okay. So I've always just been the type of person that if I wanted to know how to do something, I would just learn how to do it. And then I would become passionate about doing it, because like, oh, I've always wanted to know how to do this. So now I know how to do it. And then I become passionate about it. And then it consumes me, even if it's not what I should be doing. Like, last year I was doing nails, and at one point thinking like, oh, should I just start my own clothing line? And then I was thinking, oh, should I just sell wholesale, like doing hair, more so like natural hair? Because I wanted to learn all these different things, I really let them kind of consume me in a way to where I wasn't really focusing on what God needed me to focus on. And last year, like it really hit me when I was doing the nails, like it just would never fit in. Like I was so passionate about doing it, and I was good at it, and I could have went to school for it and made money doing it. But did that mean that it was the right thing for me to be doing? But just because I was so passionate about it, and just because I got to a point where I was just fed up with how the nail salons were doing nails. Like, no, it was just like this love and this kind of like a fixation on a specific thing. And this has just been my life, like all of my life. Like I've always just been passionate about learning new things because I love to learn. but that doesn't necessarily mean that I was supposed to be in those different lanes. I mean, what would you say your outlook on passion is?
I mean, very similar to yours. I thought that was great. I could relate, for sure. I also, think that there's, good and bad passion, and you have to, like you've done, like you just kind of said, like you have to look beneath your passion to understand why you're so passionate about it. And, sometimes passion can even be driven by unhealed wounds that we may not even be knowing, about. And I think, it's something that if if you love it, continue to do it. Let it be one of your hobbies to do. And hey, like, what if it is, like who's to say that what I'm doing isn't, part of my purpose or whatever. But I think it's just very good if you think about your why. I think one of those questions that we have to ask ourselves all the time when we do something, whether even if we go to the gym, like what is our why? And our why is usually attached with, when you continue to ask yourself why and you go 7 layers deep with that, you start to let it be attached with an emotion. And then you understand, like, oh, this is why I'm doing it. Like, this is why, I'm working out. This is why I'm so passionate about music, and you let that, that why, help you to move forward in your passion. So I think, passion isn't necessarily bad or isn't necessarily always a good thing either, but it's important to know why you're so passionate about, the things that you are striving towards or working on.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's like, does God want us to be focused on this in this moment? Because just one of the points that she was making was like, she was so passionate that she lost sight of what God was trying to do, or she got so passionate that the assignment that God had for her, she wasn't necessarily, she was just so fixated on like what she wanted for what she was doing for God and not what God wanted for what she was doing for him. So it was more about, it became more about her. And when I was reading it, I was just like, wow, like, so literally all we have to do is just pray, God, what do you want me to be focused on in this season? What do I need to be passionate about in this season? And allow him to reveal it and ask him to reveal it. And how her passion for something when I was younger, how it has now gotten me to the place that I'm in, because she's like literally why I would say I even have a relationship with God today, because of the relationship that I was able to build when I was younger. How life just works is like, yes, sometimes we are passionate about the wrong things, but God still uses it for his good, regardless of where your heart might be when you might have been doing it. He still was able to use that, to help so many young girls. But what do you feel like as far as purpose? How do you feel your journey with finding your purpose is going? Or do you feel like you finally know?
Well, I believe one thing about purpose is that there's an ultimate purpose and an individual purpose, but both should align with one another, if that makes sense. So like my ultimate purpose is to fear God and keep his commandments, as simple to simply put that. In Ecclesiastes, it says in chapter 12 that the duty of all men is to fear God and keep his commandments. So that's my ultimate purpose. So how could my individual purpose align with that ultimate purpose? And I want to say, Ty, like, I think a lot of things that I'm doing right now is tied into my purpose when in regards to podcasts, writing, music, and just being like with my family, being a family man. This is my purpose, and of course there's business, and of course there's finances, that are essential to being a well-ordered man and being stewarding those blessings and such. and that's part of manhood. I feel as if like God's working in all these areas, and like one thing, like a lot of people been like reaching out and just like saying like how I should be a speaker or motivational speaker, stuff like that. And like that's cool, and I'm really blessed that people are encouraged by the things that I say. But I also want to be a doer. Like I love working with my hands. I like creating. I believe I'm an artist, so I love to create, and I just believe that it's gonna eventually all come into fruition soon. I just have to continue to seek him, because this is, it is big, it's big.
Yeah.
Do you think that, there's ultimate purpose and individual purpose? And do you think that they should, align with one another?
On this journey that I'm on now, that I'm really starting to just kind of take everything in that God is really doing in me. And so, I don't know, I'm just in a place where I'm starting to really see that he has specific plans for everybody. And I do believe, yes, we all are working towards just pleasing him. And I'm also starting to see that God is trying to talk to us all in different ways. And I'm also seeing that once we figure out what way he's trying to communicate with us and what way he's trying to get the message through to us, whether he's constantly sending people into your life, whether you are a seer having visions, like dreaming, whether, you are hearing his voice directly, like he's trying to talk to all of us and trying to get, that information in. And like, once we are able to hear from him, once we are able to truly get that one line of communication with him, that then he's going to continue to push into us what he needs. So that individual purpose, like you said. So I do think there's an ultimate purpose that we all have that he's trying to do. And I know for a fact, because he like flat out showed me like Jax's purpose. And it was just so crazy because it's like, yes, this is his son. Like ultimately Jax is his son, and I'm just here to take care of him. And now seeing what his purpose is, like being able to now put him in better positions for him to now have an advantage of like, okay, God gave me a child and I already know his purpose. And now I don't know, I think I'm looking at it from a different way, but like, even for my own purpose, he's revealed certain things to me, but never in the way that he revealed his purpose to me. And I don't know if it's just because I am his parent, the one raising him every day, that he was able to give it to me so clearly. But I just think it's amazing how once we do get on one accord with God and we are in a place where we're really focusing on the confirmation that he's giving and the way he's trying to speak to us in the spiritual language, whichever line of communication that he's trying to speak to us, like he really will give us and tell us everything we need to know about who we are and what he wants from us. And ultimately that will lead us to our purpose, the one that this is what you are. Like no matter what environment you go into, this is your purpose. And that was one thing that he revealed to me, like your purpose is not necessarily like, yes, your purpose is to build homes, like not necessarily that type of purpose. And I feel like that's sometimes how we kind of look at it, but it's more so no matter what environment you go into, what is your purpose? Like no matter who you're around, like God has a purpose on us in that sense. Like, yeah, he gives us the passion, and the passion provides us different avenues of work, but we have an ultimate purpose. And no matter which environment we go into, like this is what God is looking for us to fulfill, especially if we see a need, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Purpose is like found deep within and it's beyond passion.
Yeah. Like is way past like, yes, God allows us to be passionate about certain things, but okay, this is your passion, but you're passionate about all these different things, but what is your purpose?
Yeah.
What are you, when you're passionate about this and you're in that environment, what is your purpose in that environment? Because your purpose in that environment is going to be the same exact purpose in the next environment and the next environment. In all those environments that you're passionate about, that God wants you to be in, your purpose will always be the same. So no matter what environment you go into, your purpose is always the same. No matter how many different things you're passionate about, what's your purpose here? Because that doesn't change.
So use your passion for your purpose. Yeah. Use your passion for your purpose. And yeah, I think that continues to tie in with the ultimate purpose, which is to glorify God, in all that you do. And like when you are, focused on your purpose, like with music, I'll just use an example. Like now that he's given me a deeper understanding of who I am, who he is, and how I could glorify his name through music, it's like, it means so much more to me, than it did prior, than just, like the author said, like pursuing it for herself, and the life that she wanted. But now it's like, God could still use my passion for his purpose, and it could really like now I'm like, ooh, my writing has gotten so much better, 10 times better. And it's just like, cause I believe it's like not just from the head, but it's really from the heart, and what God is doing, all that love that he's doing in me, it's like flowing through the pen. And so, yeah, he's really using this passion that I have to write and to uplift others for his purpose. So yeah, I think that's great. So, and also I think just a big thing to write down is that your passion is eternal. Like remember that God had you planned out before the foundations of the world. So this plan of yours has been in the eternity past. So you have to think like, man, I'm living I should be striving towards a life of purpose and be purposeful in everything that I do, because my great God, my loving Father, thought of this plan and mapped it out for me. And all I had to do is say okay and like wrestle, and like of course you're gonna wrestle and everything, but like walk in that, live in it. And I think, what do you think, Ty? Like, does it take somebody a long time to find the purpose, or can somebody could God give people certain revelations of their purpose, there's like a purpose today, like you have a purpose today, right? Even though I don't know my ultimate purpose or like my life's calling in a sense, like I still have a purpose today, and I still have a purpose today. So maybe you can tap into that. What do you think about that? How could what I do today, impact tomorrow? And as I pursue to know clarity on this purpose, I think, yeah, that's the one thing. How could I gain clarity to, on my purpose? What could I do today to gain clarity?
The main thing that we all have to do, and not even that we like is an option, but we all have to pray and ask God to continue to reveal and continue to show us and continue to guide us on a path that will help us fulfill our purpose, and continue to reveal our purpose to us and reveal the next step that he needs us, because there are a bunch of different things that we could be doing every day to fulfill our purpose, but we want to make sure that we are aligned with God's purpose for our lives. So to continue to pray and say, God, allow me to be in line with your purpose for my life, and continue to reveal what my purpose is, continue to reveal what I should be passionate about, continue to give me confirmation that I'm walking on the right path, that I'm being obedient to what you need me to do. And that was one thing that I didn't really understand before, but I really started to get it this year. Like, it's okay to continue to ask God to guide me on the path that he wants me to be on, because ultimately I'm fulfilling the plan that he wants me to fulfill. So if I'm aligned with him, then I'm able to go forward knowing that no matter what happens from this day on, I'm walking in his plan and I'm just trusting it blindly. And he's going to continue to give me confirmation. And for me personally, he continues to give me confirmation through other people, through dreams, through my prayer time and business meetings with him, that I'm aligned with his plan. And regardless of what happens, losing my job, getting an offer to another job, him telling me to turn it down, I'm falling back on the fact that I trust him and I know that he's going to keep revealing the next step, because that is what he wants to do for us. He wants us to lean on him and trust him blindly so that he can lead us down the path of what we should be passionate about and what our purpose is in this specific time today, what our purpose is, like what we should be doing.
So do you think it would be wise to also, when you're on this journey and, to reevaluate your whys and to think why I'm doing this or why am I so passionate about this thing? Do you think it'll be safe to say it's important to reevaluate those whys?
Yeah, absolutely. So that specific prayer is a part of just my prayer for myself that I have every day. It's more that goes into it, but that's something that I pray every day because I want to make sure that I'm always aligned with God's plan. So I do think it's very important that we are just conscious of, okay, God is going to continue to show us what we should be doing. He's going to continue to show us what we shouldn't be doing. But if we are so passionate about it to the point where we don't even see that he's trying to take this away from us, or we don't even see what he's trying to do for us because we're more blinded by what we want to do and what makes us feel good, and we're not really focused on what he wants for us. So I think it is very important to reevaluate it because we can be in a season longer than we should be because we're so passionate, and we can be blind to what he's trying to do because of passion, because at a certain point our passion is who we are, and it's not who God might want us to be in that specific season. So each season, our passion, what we should be doing, can always be changing. If we're not conscious of what he's trying to do and the season that he has us in, sometimes we can get stuck in the season doing what we want to do, letting our flesh take over. And then we end up delaying, constantly delaying what he has for us.
That's deep. So with that being said, don't waste your potential on temporary things. Seek what is eternal.
Yeah.
I think another thing, I was trying to look for the tweet too, is that, it's when you chase your desires, you miss God's plan. But when you chase God's plan, he gives you his desires or your desires, And I feel like you hit it, I think you really spoke to a lot of hearts today, and including mine. Aww. There's certain things that I'm am I, there's been these sort of, film ideas that I would like to do. And, I really feel man, I can make a great impact with this and I could spread a great message, through this. And I'm thinking, I was thinking last night, I was maybe it's just not time. Maybe I need to still focus in on these certain things because for me as an artist and a creator, we get these, just these constant flows of ideas and things that, just boom, boom, boom. And it's just overwhelming sometimes. And my friend, she was telling me, it's important to balance that all out because then you're just going to be super stressed and all that. And I'm also I need to continue to pray on these things, and not just do them because, it's on my heart to do it. I need to, like you said, pray and evaluate it all and seek his face. And how does it tie into the purpose? Is it time and all that? Just so much to it. And thank you for that message. That was beautiful.
Oh, no problem.
Just a few other things that I thought. What do you think about this thought? I had wrote, find peace before purpose. I feel when you are pursuing God, we should pursue to be healed and pursue to have his peace. And when we are doing that, then we're living with a relaxed mental attitude, and therefore I feel he can speak to us clearly what is our purpose and how do we go about it more consciously. I feel peace comes before prosperity, so why shouldn't so I think the same, peace before purpose. Do you think that you find when you find your purpose you find peace? That's what about that? I don't know. that's my last question. That's my closing question. Is it so peace before purpose, or when you find purpose, you find peace?
You definitely can find peace before purpose, because God, even if you're not praying for your purpose, you can pray for peace and God will give that to you. Like if that's in his plan for that season, he will absolutely give you that. Like, and yeah, I don't think you have to have your purpose yet, but I think just being vulnerable with him and allowing him to know your heart, like know where you are as far as your peace, as far as your purpose, where you are in all aspects of life, and being able to pour out to him what you need from him, he'll grant us all of those things, no matter what it is. So yeah, I think we can definitely have the peace without even finding our purpose. But I'm not sure if you can I'm not sure if you can have the purpose.
When you find purpose, then you get peace. Yeah, no, I'm
Right.
with you, but I threw that out there because certain people would think that, like when I get this, then I'll be happy, or when I get this, then I'll, have more time or something like that, or something, it's always when I get this, then I'll have this sort of emotion or this sort of, like stillness in my heart, but it's like God's word doesn't necessarily say that. It says like, you can have this before and I'll add all these things to you, like seek first the kingdom of God, and then all these things he'll add to it. So it's like, he gives us like the inheritance of all these spiritual blessings, and that's by grace and favor alone. Like it's nothing that we do, So like when it comes to, working out our faith and, living in this world, like we're able to capture our purpose with a well-ordered heart, with a like a mind that is fixed and is in perfect peace, So I feel like that, like peace before purpose. So then when, you are living in your purpose, I mean, there's going to be ups and downs, but you're going to be able to handle those ups and downs, and you're going to be able to combat them so wisely, But I digress.
Oh no, it's okay.
No, that's what I gotta. That's the end of what I gotta say. I'm looking forward to I want to hear more testimonies on our listeners' journey though. I really want to hear like what's God doing in your life, and like how is he leading you. I really want to know. I'm really interested in hearing other listeners like what they had to say.
Yeah. So. This is a sad time.
It's a wrap, Ty? Is it a wrap? Oh, dang, dude. No, it's been a blessing. Should we sing the Out of the Box song?
Oh my God, I used to love it.
Farewell. That would be funny if we made a song like that.
That'll be funny if that was our closing song. That'll be good.
That would be really good. If you guys don't know what we're talking about this show that was on Disney. What is it, in the early 2000s? It was called Out of the Box, and they always sang this song. On the way out of the box, they would sing us out, and it was always a blessing. It was just so fun.
Yeah, but I was always sad because the show was going off.
Yeah, it was. It's been great to play and sing together in the box. Now it's time to say goodbye. So long. But all right. That's a wrap.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ty. Lead us out.
We just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been tuning in every Monday with us for the past almost 2 months, over 2 months, almost 3 months. So yes, thank you for tuning in. Our show has grown so much. Our platform has grown so much since the beginning of this season. And yes, we will actually be back with season 4. I can give y'all the date. It'll be August 3rd. So while we on break, I want y'all to make sure you're subscribed to the journals, our June challenge. So if y'all don't want to miss hearing from us, make sure you're subscribed. We'll be doing a few different things. If you're not following us on Instagram, you need to be following us if you want to keep up with us, because we've been posting a lot of good stuff. And yes, you have to be subscribed. And and we'll be back with another episode on August 3rd. So we will talk to y'all then.
Later, guys. Thank you so much. Love you.
Bye.